They say the United Arab Emirates is a place where the desert learned to dream. A land where dunes that once knew only silence now echo with ambition, innovation, and the footsteps of people from all over the world. But long before the skyline glowed with towers, before plains and ports connected continents, the UAE was a quiet stretch of sand and sea, shaped by patience, resilience, and vision. Our story begins with a young boy named Saeed, who grew up in a small pearl-diving village along the Arabian Gulf. His world was wonderfully simple. Wooden dhows rocking on turquoise water, fishermen calling out to each other as they cast their nets, and miles of golden desert stretching endlessly behind him. Saeed's father, a skilled sailor, often took him out at dawn to teach him how to read the stars. He'd point to the constellations and say, "The desert and the sea never lie. If you listen, they will guide you." Life back then was humble and tough. Families relied on fishing, pearl diving, small-scale trade, and the incredible strength of their community. People were bound together by hospitality, poetry, and faith. Every sunset felt like a story, and every sand dune carried the footsteps of generations who had learned to adapt to this harsh, beautiful environment. The land demanded strength, but it rewarded those who respected it. As years passed, Saeed grew older, and the region began to shift. New traders passed through the ports, bringing new goods and new ideas. A quiet sense of possibility started to fill the air. But nothing would change the country quite like the events of 1971. That was the year that the United Arab Emirates was formed. Saeed would never forget that day. Flags rose proudly across the 7 Emirates, and people celebrated something bigger than themselves: unity. Visionary leaders who believed deeply in the power of cooperation brought the Emirates together as one nation. "A strong family builds a strong future," his father told him, his voice filled with pride. "Today, we became a family." Then, oil was discovered, and the land transformed, almost overnight. Roads stretched across the desert where there had only been sand tracks. Schools opened their doors where there had been none. Ports expanded, and electricity brightened homes that had only known the soft glow of lanterns. It was a whirlwind of change, but even with such sudden progress, the people of the UAE never forgot their roots. Their core values remained unbreakable: generosity, courage, respect, and unity. In his 20s, Saeed moved to Dubai. The city was still young, but his dreams were colossal. He would listen to leaders speak boldly of incredible possibilities, building a city completely open to the world, creating free zones to attract business, connecting continents, and inviting talent and cultures from every corner of the globe. Many people, both inside and outside the region, thought these dreams were too big, too ambitious, even impossible. But the UAE had never been a place that feared the impossible. One morning, Saeed visited the site of what would one day become the tallest building on earth, the Burj Khalifa. Cranes pierced the sky like metallic giants. Workers from dozens of different countries moved in a coordinated rhythm, and engineers studied complex plans written in languages Saeed had never even heard before. Watching them, he realized something profound. The UAE's real power wasn't just its oil or its wealth. It was its people. People dreaming together. People believing together. And most importantly, people building together. As the decades passed, the UAE continued its incredible journey of growth. Not just upward, but forward. Museums rose beside mosques. Innovation centers were built next to traditional markets. And futuristic towers stood proudly beside historic forts. The Emirates embraced the world without ever losing its unique identity. It built some of the safest cities, the busiest airports, the most diverse communities, and one of the most inspiring success stories in modern history. By the time Saeed became a grandfather, Dubai's skyline glowed like a constellation brought down from the heavens. Abu Dhabi stood as a proud beacon of culture and leadership. Sharjah became a global center for literature, art, and heritage. And each of the 7 Emirates carved its own unique, successful story. One warm evening, while walking along the Dubai Creek, Saeed held his young grandson Khalid's hand. The boy looked up at the brilliant city lights reflecting on the water and asked, "Grandfather, how did the UAE become like this?" Saeed smiled, a lifetime of memories in his eyes. "Because we never stopped dreaming," he said softly. "And we never forgot who we are." He explained to Khalid how the UAE masterfully balanced tradition with modernity, how it always valued unity over division, and how it welcomed people from every corner of the world with open arms. "Look around," Saeed said, gesturing to the vibrant scene. "This place is built by the hopes and dreams of millions. That is our real strength." Khalid looked at the traditional dhows sailing past, at the shimmering skyline, at all the people walking, biolocals, expats, families, tourists, dreamers, and, he whispered with a newfound determination, "I want to help build the future too." Saeed squeezed his hand, his heart swelling with hope. That, my son, he said, is the spirit of the Emirates. Because the UAE is not just a nation, it is a vision, it is a promise, it is a dream that rose from the desert and learned to fly. Thank you so much for watching. If this story inspired you, please like, share, and subscribe for more stories from around the world. We'll see you in the next one.